Hey everybody, how's it going? This here is Tracilyn. I'm also known as VCat. And I am down here in Grove City, Ohio, which is just outside of Columbus, Ohio. I'm not 100% sure if this is where I was in 2008. So I'm going to go to two different hotel locations. But I do remember being over here at the Hamilton Inn, at least to turn around. Look at these hotels. Isn't that cool? I'd like to do a video with a second floor like that. I think that's pretty cool. If I could do it quick enough, that would be it. I wanted to see this net over here, and I'm kind of parked at somebody's hotel, so I don't want to stay there too long. The food smells good out here. Somebody's evidently cooking. I wanted to stop out here because I wanted to share a video of the basic location that I'm at. This is a miniature golf course, and I love to go miniature golfing. What about you? Are you a golfer? I was told that you could meet people when I was in the music industry, that if I went to the local golf courses, that was the best place that I could meet people in my musical endeavors, like attorneys and investors and other people who love to golf. But I'm not a golfer, and I think it would be obvious. But I do like to miniature golf, even though I'm not really good at it. Especially during the right time of the day. I smell good food here. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? I used to think that it would be cool to have a miniature golf course, you know. I used to think a lot of things that I don't no longer think anymore. A lot of it is because the things I've endured and what I'm currently going through. And that's why I wanted to point this out. You see these hotels? In 2008, I had come out to stay in one of these hotels. I think it was either the Motel 6 or the Travel Lodge. We're gonna go check them out so I can get some video footage. And eventually I'm going to share with you about some of the circumstances that I endured while staying at hotels. I am a natural entertainer. Some people may not think so, but the ones who do, usually we get along really good. And during the time that I was staying here, I came out to meet the owner of the You're Not Alone website, moderator, owner, to thank them, because it's where I met a person by the name of Tiffany, and I got to meet a lot of people to learn more about myself as a transgendered or psychological identity versus what had happened throughout my life and I was unfamiliar with, and a lot of the choices that I was making. Life circumstances were increasingly becoming more difficult because of other people's psychological conditioning. We have a penis, then we're supposed to identify as a man. And though it may be nice for a very loving, very gentle, very graceful energy of a human existence, life form, to be around a very masculine person who appreciates them, especially, and does not want to hurt little femme delicacies, that's not what they want to be. And after years of studying scripture, psychological literature that is beneficial for people who want to become more aware and in tune on how we can best serve our inner thoughts. So what I boiled it down to, come into the realization, is most of this life witnessing is based on psychology. I have a very strong opinion about what I feel the United States government does with funding that they rape from the United States citizens. And one of them is framing people. One of them is setting people up, invading their personal space, whatever that means, and trying to influence them against the law so that they can press charges and make their life difficult, because they cannot stand anybody who's living a life in freedom of any kind. And I'm talking about even in love especially. You don't believe me? Put on a really nice outfit, whatever you perceive that as. Put on a cheerful outfit of a smile, put on a cheerful smile and go about your day. And it won't be long before an undercover comes up to you somewhere and tries to influence you in their idea to be a prostitute. I think we went through this as children, like little children, when we were teenagers especially. Yeah, and they pull over and, hey, would you like to go to a party? We'll give you some money. Can you believe that people actually get paid to do this and there is government funding? Do you think so? To frame people. Sting operations with it. Sting. They call them sting operations. We're gonna go get some more video footage, and I have a wonderful blessing for people of the earth. One of my serious, what I perceive as extremely serious reasonings, well, amongst us in this human race, is to eliminate government funding for what they call is prostitution, because what God is talking about is them. They are the prostitutes, the ones raping us of our finances. Does anybody give to the government what belongs to them? Has anybody just gave them a big fuck you at any given time? How do you like that mask thing, huh? Is that beneficial for life? Did you ever notice? Go like this for me, go. Without your mask on. Now put your mask on if you're okay with it. If you start to feel lightheaded, pull off the mask. You might want to do this with somebody else supervising you. Put the mask over, put your hand over, now go. How much more difficult is it to breathe? What if you do it with your nasal? With your mouth closed? What kind of government and leadership encourages people to go like this? As they go through life. Now walk. No, don't, because you could pass out. What if you run? That's a heck of a topic, isn't it? It sure is. Where is God's government at here? And I'm talking about the Lord that is for life. Where's it at? Do you think I'm the only one? Because I feel sometimes like I live in a human race with a bunch of either lost or people who are just blowing it off, who cares, or chicken shits. Do I live amongst a bunch of chicken shits? I live amongst a bunch of chicken shits. So I was working on my third studio album because I was misled to believe that our lives should be committed to serving our community. By the way, that's all screwed up. And it's other people's ideas that is formed by a whole lot of other stuff that is going on, that it becomes nobody's idea anymore. It's what occurred along the way. Have you ever found yourself driving in a city and acknowledging there's a whole lot of things that you would do different if you were the one who, for some reason, somehow could? Then it might be that that's not a society or a neighborhood you want to commit your life to serving. And therefore, you should tell any Christian leader who wants to tell you to stop being selfish with your life and go help other people. You help people best when you serve your own inner truth. One of my inner truths is it's time to eliminate. You wouldn't believe, if you listen to my life story, how many times I was harassed by undercover cops trying to frame me. You can't bust me for prostitution. I would never. Prostitution is, as stated in many states, because they're all jurisdictional, aren't they? It's not a federal offense. It's a slap on the wrist, that's all. A fine and a little bit of probation period. You go help the local community. Only right there, everything I just said is against your beliefs. I don't want to help the local community. If I do, I want to do it the way that I want. I'm entertaining them. I'm keeping people from being pedophiles, serial rapists, because I'm an adult entertainer at the time. And I have a standard, by the way. It's not everything you think it is, so stop right there. Some people have a real standard and they have morals. In other words, they will only have connections with other people that respect what it is they are willing to do and not to do. We're gonna go to a couple more places. My mom used to work at a Quality Inn in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. That used to be Treadmill Inn. And when I came here in 2008, I'm almost 100% certain. I don't know exactly the hotel just yet that I stayed at. It's one or two places, I think. But I'm almost positive if it wasn't one back here with the many hotels, then there is a good chance that the hotel, that I turned around in. I turned around in here. I might have been asking for directions or something, because I definitely remember this area. So I really like, in a season of time, maybe like during this time, I wasn't per se on the road to work. I came out here specifically to meet people and to thank them for having the website, because without that I might not have ever learned, or soon enough learned, the things that I did. And that's number one, is there's a lot more than just me that's been dealing with this my whole life. We have an awesome school system that educates us to their idea of what they want to condition the human race for, which is idiocy, okay, ignorancy. Keep them distant from the truth and fill their heads with an artificial truth. They don't need to know if there is anything that's remotely close to absolute, but they don't want to know even things that have already been learned as pretty solid evidence that it's going to work that way, or it does exist that way. And then we have people going around and trying to plant evidence on people. People who have gotten busted in all kinds of things. Drug raids, okay, underage drinking raids. The extent that little buzz cut military type Fed agents, undercover detectives, officers, okay, the extent that they go to and through to set up another, what should be perceived as a brother or sister, however they want to perceive that as. This alone, just eliminating these programs, even just for the prostitution, I would love to meet people who crunch numbers on how much money Americans slave and give to the mafia to go out and wreck people's lives and waste people's money and labor, which is even worse. Your government, you should hold them accountable, and for every penny that you feed into it, you should have in writing back as to what it is that your money has contributed to. You have a say, you have a voice, you know sign language, you know many different languages, whoever you are, you're out there. Why don't we make this the 20s and the 30s and the 40s coming into the 50s? Why don't we make this a season where people start voicing, being serious about who is passing laws, for what reasoning? Why didn't I ever receive a letter stating that there's going to be laws in your jurisdiction that are going to be passed and you have a voice to be heard? Have you ever felt like there's something that's an invisible ghost like that's coming up and strangling you? That would be the ones who are continuously passing laws, making it impossible for us to live more freely. Hopefully you are the kind of person that wants to live respectfully, live and let live. When I allowed myself, after talking to many people and understanding my current circumstance at that time, how much money, thousands of dollars, and what I would have to do to get that thousands of dollars to simply prove that I am innocent. I was told by many people, just plead guilty, and I did. And I knew that I would, if I'm still around, God willing, enables me. I'm an entertainer. I'm not afraid to speak. And I've learned that this is the most powerful approach. The most powerful approach is to speak in peace, in love, and share the truth. And know that my Lord is for me. And therefore, a hedge of protection is around me everywhere I go. I, York, Pennsylvania, would love my money back. When I came out here in 2008, as I get closer to the hotel it most likely was, I'm going to share with you how angry I was. Was it because I caught on to things? Yes, no, was it? Think so? Hold on a minute. I'm kind of a little shaky on the time frame that I was out here specifically. Was it 2007? 2008, I was busted for prostitution in York, Pennsylvania. And somehow I caught on to the fact that as an escort, I was receiving psychological acknowledgement that there was an increasing amount of undercover surveillancing me. So I'd have to go back and think and look at some of my records, which I'm not doing right now, plus I have it in videos, okay? This one out here, as far as to the actual hotel, is kind of a little bit foggy to me because it was not such a dominant focus on me, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. In a lot of these hotels around America, for many reasons, one of them is it's better for some, more enjoyable for others to travel, and it's more beneficial for life and as business when you're an entertainer rather than just staying in one central location, which is what the power that be's, which is not God, the dominating power, tries to get us to be in a jurisdiction where they can surveillance us and watch us extremely closely. So closely that they have the ability to plug into our brains and look through our eyes. They can taste everything, all of our senses. They can smell and hear out of our ears. Most of the symptoms that you have received and are going to the doctor for are inflicted upon either A, another planet, not with a higher intelligence, but I'm sure they are more aware of things. Which makes sense to me. Aliens to us. What do you think? Could it be other humans that live more than just a couple hundred years? And they have some kind of psychological dysfunction that they feel masses of humans should be, removed, I guess, from human form. I think I came here at the Hamilton at least at some point to turn around. I'm almost positive that I went inside. And I might have been talking to them about the possibility of either A, staying here, I'm not too sure of, or B, how I actually got into the hotel of the place that I was staying at. And then I'll clean up, what I was talking about. The reason that I say about when I came out here to Ohio, it was in 2008, is because this all happened in 2007, that I started taking life's transitions. I met people online, and I ended up being on You're Not Alone for quite a while. It was a website that you could go in and chat with other trans people and those who admire trans. And everybody's at different places psychologically and how they're living their day-to-day life. And it was crucially valuable for me to actually meet a lot of these people, if it was possible, face to face. And I found out that people provided the networking space, hosted events in Columbus, Ohio. So that is exactly why I came out here. And I was looking forward to it, but I was nervous because at the time I did not have employment, and I didn't want that to be the dominant focus in my life. And I was truly hoping that someday, somehow, I could get away from being an adult entertainer. Though it's fun, I realized that it would be more of like a part-time, once in a while kind of thing. But I knew I didn't want to do it forever. I was really feeling led psychologically. I was feeling like I was being led into a rock and roll ministry, preferably more like a children's rock and roll ministry. And this goes through a lot of my witnessing as an acoustic entertainer, and the years that I did a lot of personal evaluation, soul searching, seeking. Some people call it in like the Christian community. I was soul seeking. I was soul searching and seeking. If there's any kind of truth whatsoever I could nibble on, that would be beneficial for life for me. I'm going to share with you more insight when I get to the next hotel. And I'll talk about this again some other time. I just wanted to point out, look around here as I spin around. I'm assuming that if I did not stay here that day in 2008, then at least I turned around in this very spot. Sometimes with the occurrences of things that I endured, I remember the details. These come back, and I have probably emails and other little notes of like when I would have booked a hotel here. I am going to go over here to a Motel 6. I'll be back. There you go. Here's one for the hotel story. What is this? We better stand back and make sure the wind isn't blowing our way. What is that? Do you know? I would highly recommend not using it. At least that jar. So I'm kind of thinking this was the hotel I was staying at. And to be honest with you, I kind of recognized the parking lot as I was innocently going about life. On this occasion, because I was not working, per se. Okay, I literally came out here because I wanted to meet other people in the trans community. So being that I was new to the Ohio area in Columbus, I parked my car somewhere in this area, and I probably stayed up. Do you think it was 219? If I did, and this is it, and I think it was because I think I remember, this has been occurring to me lately. I think I remember the Red Roof Inn, which is right over here. Is that it? What is that? Is that the Travelodge, do you think? Let's zoom in. I can't see through these trees right now. Don't just connect yourself with just any relationships. Right? They have to be compatible psychology-wise, and they have to be extremely supportive. Both of you should be supportive of each other, so I don't know what the answer is yet. I think I'm coming into it, and a lot of it is surrendering to the truth within each individual. And how does it work when you're in the lives of other humans? Their truth, your truth. Does it somehow, if I start serving my truth, how is it somehow a servant in itself to the people I'm around? Chances are I should have been a recording artist. I was lied to most of my life that it's not about me, and it's selfish of me to be focused on the things in life that I love. This did not come directly like from my mother or anyone specifically. This is a dominancy in the world, and you will find it listening to people like Joyce Myers, who strongly teaches selfish to do what you want to do, and the most loving thing you can do is go serve everybody else. And I came out here in 2009 to actually live because of dilemmas I was going through. And I never liked Ohio the whole time. It's okay, there's things I like about it. Anyway, I think I remember coming up and down these steps, so I'm going to go up the steps. And if I'm not mistaken, do you think I would have been on the upper floor is what I remember. And these would have been the staircase. During that time, When I get really stressed out, I would smoke. And I would come outside because I don't like to smoke in a hotel room at all. And I don't like the stench it leaves behind and all that other stuff. Especially if you're inviting others into the room, but for yourself too. And I would have probably stood like here. Let's look. You think so? I would have stood like about here. Do you think behind the tree? And I would have looked around. And I probably would have stood here, where I could see both ways. Make sure I'm safe. And I might have walked back here to see what's going on. What's on the other side of the hotel I'm staying at. Anyway, so I think I would have stood here to smoke my cigarettes. I hope I didn't throw them out into the yard. Did I have an ashtray or something? Maybe. And then there is 201 through 227 that way. 202 through 228 that way. So I showed you the staircase. We're gonna walk by the hotel doors. I had to do a lot of thinking when I was outside of the hotel room. Instead of staying all locked up inside, I would come outside, sometimes stand by a corner here. Can you see? I would stand by the corner and I would do a lot of thinking. Sometimes I would smoke. Look around and sometimes talk to people. Very familiar to me. So I'm gonna get going and I will share with you some other things. But know that during this time, I came out here to network, to meet others, and I was also hoping that I could get help along the way. But what kind of help? Because I don't understand exactly what it is I need, except for I need to be able to take care of myself. Especially while you're listening to somebody who keeps telling you to trust God with your life. You lead up into all kinds. Oh, sorry. I got you on camera.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Hi.
Hi. Are you from the area?
Yeah.
You are?
Locals.
Local? Nice to meet you.
You too.
So there you go. And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, hold on. I think there's an ice machine downstairs, do you think? You got ice for a bucket? What do we need ice for? Or drinks? Let's go down and check. Oh, I don't see it. If it was there, if there was an ice machine, then it would have been here. So it's kind of unique that I ended up here because I'm almost 100% sure that this was the place I was staying. And what did I want to share with you? Well, that's a good question. And I will eventually give you that in the answer for that as I come over here into the car. While I was here, I realized that I'm going to have to be able to take care of myself still. During this time I was an escort. I would have to be able to provide for my transportation, for things like tolls and fuel and staying at the hotel and to eat. And being that I didn't know what else to do, and I kept reaching out to people like doctors, nurses, mental institutions, I still did not really receive answers as to what alternatives would be in intelligent outside of what it was that I was doing. And I care about life, I want to live, so I'm going to provide for myself in a manner that says, I'm alive today.